Okay, so picture this. It's the early 20th century, and a bunch of artists and writers look around and decide that culture isn't just boring, it's the enemy. So what do? They declare war. And this is the story of their weapon, a magazine that was literally designed to be an explosion in. And this quote right here from their leader Wyndham Lewis really sets the tone. Vorticism is art before it has spread itself into futility. I mean, wow. He wasn't just trying to sound clever. This was a direct challenge. The Vorticists, as they called themselves, thought art had gotten soft, sentimental, meaningless fluff. Their mission was to punch it in the gut with force, intensity, and some real intellectual power. So if you're going to wage a cultural war, what's your weapon of choice? Well, for these guys, it was a magazine. But let's be clear, this was not your average publication. It was called BLAST, and yeah, that's in all caps. It was engineered to be part manifesto, part masterpiece. The year is 1914. Wyndham Lewis drops the first issue of BLAST on an unsuspecting London just a few weeks before the start of World War I. And that timing? Oh, it was everything, as we're about to find out. You see, BLAST's pages were just this raw, unfiltered statement about modern life. It smashed together poetry, hard-hitting essays, and a visual design so radical you couldn't ignore it. This wasn't something you just sat back and read. No, this was an experience designed to get right in your face. But why all the aggression? To really get it, we need to look at what they were fighting against. I mean, who or what was the target of all this creative rage? And they drew some very clear battle lines in their manifesto. On one side, everything they blasted, all the stuff they saw as weak and outdated. Think Victorian fluff, sappy romanticism, anything that felt like it belonged in the past. And on the other side, everything they blessed. The raw, chaotic energy of the modern world, the machine, the city, the future. For them, that was the new gospel. This whole philosophy, this whole movement, it had a name, Vorticism. So what on earth does that mean? Okay, so at its heart, Vorticism was all about the vortex. That still point at the center of a whirlwind. They felt like modern life was this chaotic storm, and their art was meant to capture all that speed, all that industrial energy, but boil it down into one single powerful, concentrated moment. Now, they didn't just pull this out of thin air. They were definitely looking at what was happening in Europe, Cubism with its fractured shapes and Futurism's obsession with speed. But they took those ideas and made something totally uniquely British. They leaned into the kind of violent energy of the industrial city. They wanted art that was intense, that was forceful. They had zero time for anything that was just sentimental or, pretty. And when you have a philosophy that revolutionary, you need a revolutionary design to match, right? For the Vorticists, how the magazine looked was every bit as important as what it said. The medium really was the message here. And man, did they deliver. Lewis and his crew designed BLAST to be a full-on visual assault. I'm talking a shocking, almost violently pink cover, typography that screamed at you. Every single element was engineered to grab you by the collar and not let go. They weren't kidding around. They literally weaponized words. You had these enormous capital letters just jumping off the page. They'd break words across different lines, even across whole pages. So you, the reader, had to actually work to piece the message together. You weren't just passively reading BLAST, you were right there in the middle of its energy. So what happened to this firework of a movement? I mean, you can probably guess. Something this intense, this explosive, isn't built to last. But its impact? Oh, the shockwaves are still being felt today. The story is actually pretty short and kind of tragic. That first issue comes out in mid-1914. A few months later, World War I breaks out. And all that machine energy they celebrated, suddenly it's being used for the mechanical slaughter of an entire generation. There was a second, much more somber issue in 1915, but by then the war had scattered the artists and just shattered their whole aggressive worldview. But even in its short life, its influence was huge. A key guy involved, Ezra, took that hard-edged Vorticist precision and applied it to his poetry, stripping language down to its absolute core. You can see echoes of it in T.S. Eliot's famous poem, The Wasteland, with all those broken images of a modern city. And bigger than that, their crazy experiments with typography, they kicked the door wide open for designers for decades to come. They proved that the way a page looks can be just as powerful as what it says. So what's the big takeaway from all of this? I think it's this really powerful idea. Sometimes to build something new, you have to tear down what came before. BLAST is this incredible reminder that real progress often demands a radical, even an aggressive break from the past. And that really leaves us with a big question, doesn't it? What do you think the true purpose of art is? Should it be something that comforts us, that pleases us, or should it be something that challenges us, confronts us, and, well, blasts open entirely new ways of seeing the world?